All right, so we're going to go over ADHD and magnesium, or in other words, can magnesium supplementation help with symptoms of ADHD? So to start, let's go over what is ADHD. So ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects executive functioning. So let's break some of that down real quick. Executive functions include, but are not limited to, attention, emotional regulation, impulse control, working memory, initiation, and planning and organizing. Executive functions are mainly regulated by the frontal or prefrontal cortex. So do keep in mind that different areas of the brain can have control over similar functions. For example, attention is not only regulated within the prefrontal cortex, but it can also be involved with areas in the midbrain, medulla, and other areas of cortex, along with emotional regulation. So the amygdala especially is involved in emotions of distress, fear, and anger, but it is regulated and given context via the prefrontal cortex. Now let's look a little bit more into the word neurodevelopmental. So neuro refers to functioning in the nervous system, especially with ADHD, that would be the brain or prefrontal cortex. Developmental refers to differences in functioning due to development. The brain is the first organ to develop in the womb. That is why ADHD is called a neurodevelopmental disorder, which means that ADHD isn't quite a disease, but it is a chronic disorder as it lasts from conception throughout your entire life. Now let's look a little bit more into magnesium. So magnesium is a significant metabolic cofactor found abundantly in its charged form, as you see here, Mg2+. It is found abundantly in the body. Magnesium plays an important role in protein synthesis, but it also plays an important role for cognitive functioning. As it plays an important role for cognitive functioning, a magnesium deficiency are related to many chronic illnesses, including ADHD. So magnesium deficiencies have been linked to behaviors like fatigue, aggression, issues with nerves, and concentration. It also has been suggested that magnesium deficiencies may be linked to the conversion of fatty acids to essential omega-3, omega-6 polyunsaturated acids. Magnesium is also essential for dopamine synthesis, regulation, and modulation of the release of neurotransmitters. This is especially important in ADHD as hyperactive behaviors are linked to such dopamine dysregulation. So let's get into some of this evidence. So a few meta-studies have looked into a deficit of magnesium for children with ADHD. Two studies in particular looked at supplementation of magnesium in children with ADHD. So one 6-month-long study looked at the effects of implementing dietary magnesium supplements in children with ADHD, and one study in Australia used magnesium supplements and measured externalizing behavior to show if magnesium supplementation could help with externalizing or hyperactive behaviors. And what they found was that blood serum magnesium and even hair magnesium was significantly lower in children with ADHD. In the 6-month-long study, they gave the children about 200 milligrams daily and found that some of the ADHD hyperactivity symptoms were lower. In the study done in Australia, there was a significant lowering in externalizing behaviors linked with ADHD after they were given the magnesium supplementation. So magnesium supplements are nice and all, easy. But what are some other ways in which children, or even anyone really, could get the magnesium that they need. Let's look at dark chocolate. This one's fun. So 1 ounce of dark chocolate will give you about 16% of your recommended daily intake of magnesium. Nuts, particularly cashews, almonds, and Brazil nuts. About 1 ounce of nuts will give you about 20% of your recommended daily intake of magnesium. Spinach, particularly cooked spinach, will give you 1 cup of cooked spinach will give you about 39% of your recommended daily intake of magnesium. I know cooked spinach can be a little slimy, but it's what it needs to get the good stuff out. Legumes. No one can convince me that they know how to pronounce that word. So 1 cup of legumes can give you about 30% of your recommended daily intake of magnesium. And lastly, seeds. Apparently many seeds carry an abundance of very good for you minerals and vitamins. But particular pumpkin, chia, and flax seeds, about 1 ounce will give you 37% of your recommended daily intake. So what are the recommended daily amounts of magnesium? So it changes depending on sex and age, but it ranges from 300 to 420 milligrams daily. And lastly, so especially in children with severe hyperactivity symptoms of ADHD, it may be wise to check magnesium levels and provide daily dietary supplements to maintain a healthy level of magnesium along with other minerals and vitamins so that the body can maintain healthy metabolic processes. There still needs to be medication like stimulants and behavioral therapy to entirely treat symptoms of ADHD. There still has yet to be significant evidence to show a direct causal link between magnesium deficiency and ADHD. And there also needs to be more research with older adolescents and adults with ADHD, as most studies are done with children. And that's it. Thanks.